Well, hello again. Welcome to life and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a great day today. It's Saturday, June 22nd, 2019. And yeah, I'm making a video on Saturday because that's how excited I am. And this shirt, first, before we do anything, I want to make a comment about this shirt. So, it's Saturday. I had a good workout and a little bit of family time this morning, and the shirt has Jim Morrison on it. It says an American poet. Jim Morrison was the founder and lead singer and songwriter for the band The Doors, which is one of my all-time favorite bands. And if you're not familiar with classic rock and that history, then why don't you, after you're done watching my video, up in the YouTube search bar, just type in Jim Morrison, The Doors, and let's just maybe start out with like some LA Woman, Riders on the Storm, something like that, or maybe just hit his greatest hits album, and that'll give you all the good stuff. But the reason that my shirt, although it be the single most raggedy shirt that I own, the reason this shirt is special to me today, and the way that it is relevant to our video, is we're going to talk a little bit about talent. Okay, first, my channel here, this YouTube channel, is very high level. I want to let you know that there are many more very specific things that we could talk about or that we could get into, but I'm reserving that for a later time. I will tell you about that later time at the end of this video, but for the time being, just know that this is intentionally very high level. I personally focus on managing large Google Ads accounts, consulting on them, optimizing them, and if you feel like most of this information is potentially beginner, perhaps, well, you're right. That's the intention of this particular content. There's another place for more advanced expert content, the deep and dirty, the secrets that I hold close to my heart. So there's going to be two things in this video. One, we're going to talk a little bit about music, a little bit about sports, and we're going to relate that to Google Ads itself. So let's go ahead and get into this, and I'm going to share my screen. First, before I get into my video, what I want to do again, oh, it looks like I have not the right screen pulled up, but I just would like to thank everybody who's been subscribing to my channel and watching these videos. The first comment, the first productive comment that I received from you guys was that my microphone may not necessarily be the best. Well, it's not that my microphone's not the best. It's actually a pretty good microphone as far as just general microphones are concerned. It is probably the way that I'm recording these. I use Zoom Video Conference to do the recording because it's like super easy with the tool, the annotation tool, and just the way that it records and whatnot. But if my audio is still less than ideal and is making these videos not bearable to watch or difficult to watch, then please let me know again. And I made a few adjustments, so hopefully that helped. But anyways, 25 subscribers. I have 5 videos total. Thank you so much. I'm just very surprised that it has grown so quickly in only a couple days. The thing that I wanted to show you actually is this. Okay, so I started this video out by saying that Jim Morrison was an incredible talent behind the microphone and with his pen, the way that he wrote his songs is incredibly poetic. And if you've ever read any of Jim Morrison's poetry, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But like, can't everybody write poetry? Can't everybody pick up a microphone and sing? Can't everybody pick up a guitar and start playing? Well, the answer to all of those is a resounding yes, and there's absolutely no barrier of entry to prevent somebody from doing so. But there is a very large difference between somebody who is talented and great at the guitar and somebody who can just pick it up and play a few chords, or maybe just pick it up and look good in a picture. So football is essentially the same way, and I have a clip pulled up here from YouTube. As you can see, Deion Sanders primetime career highlights, NFL legends. Maybe I'll post the link to this video in the description for your viewing pleasure. But the thing that repeatedly comes back to the forefront of my attention when talking about Google Ads is that, similar to music, similar to football or any other sport, just because somebody steps onto the field, that does not mean that they are a top-notch contender. That does not mean that they're a sought-after talent, somebody who's going to actually help their team win. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for, in this competitive business world that we live in, we're looking for people that we can add to our team who are going to fill the stadiums, who are going to make the plays when the game is on the line. And Deion Sanders was absolutely one of those people who made the big plays when the game was on the line, and he also made the big bucks for it too. This video talks about how his personality and his style of play just really exemplified who he was as a person. And I am a big fan of Deion Sanders. So if you don't like him, then I'm sorry. He's actually just a very small part of this video. So I have this slowed down quite a bit. Our playback speed set to 0.25 here. And as far as my videos go, I typically talk moderately slow. And so if you just want to consume more of my content more quickly, then I also recommend switching the playback speed from normal to 1.5 or potentially even 2x if you think that you really got the ear for it. I like 2x, but that's just me. So in this play, this looks like it might be Michael Irvin, probably not though. It looks like 80. Irvin was 88. But this is one of the Cowboys wide receivers. And Deion Sanders, let me get actually I'm not going to get my annotation. Yeah, I'm going to get my annotation tool. So Deion Sanders was a cornerback. And a cornerback is the guy on the far outside end of the line of scrimmage, or of both ends of the football field, right and left side, on defense, that is supposed to guard the most outside wide receiver, who are typically the fastest and most athletic people on the offense. So we can see that this guy's stance, I don't know who this guy is, like we mentioned, but he is the receiver, and he has 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. And Deion Sanders has both feet parallel to the line of scrimmage. Let's just assume that this is the line of scrimmage. And his back is flat, and his hands are in what we call the fighting position. You can't really see that too well in this because he's leaned over so much, but he has his hands up and ready. His hands aren't on his hips, hands aren't on his knees, his hands are up and ready. So my channel, the way that I want you to envision my channel in this YouTube channel here is I am not going to tell you every single thing to do. Excuse me. I am not going to tell you every single thing that you need to do to play the game the right way. What I am going to tell you how to do is line up correctly and get all of your players in the right position. You are not just one player. You are the coach, and you have all of the different players on your Google Ads field, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But this channel very specifically is to help you understand the fundamentals of Google Ads and business, and how the two coincide, and how you can grow your business effectively with Google Ads. And it all 100% starts with technique. It always starts with technique. If we're talking about somebody who plays an instrument, you have to hold the instrument the right way. If it's a tennis player, you got to hold the racket the right way. And in football, you have to line up the right way. So what's going to happen here is the offensive guy, the wide receiver, he knows the exact route that he's running. And Deion, the defensive guy, does not, or at least we presume that he does not know. Deion, through his film study and just what he knows about the particular situation and that receiver, he could assume, or he could make a couple predictions of what he thinks that wide receiver might run for the play. But the bottom line is it's ultimately a guess at that point. So that's why, or it's ultimately a guess before the play starts. So that's why he's very squared up. He can go left or right equally in this moment. So I'm just going to start going frame by frame here. And we see that the very first thing that Dion does is he puts his hands on the receiver, but he doesn't, he has his feet turned a little bit, but he doesn't open up his hips towards the outside. The wide receiver, what he wants to do at this point, he wants to make Dion think that he's going to run an outside route and get his hips turned as far outside as he can so that he can come break back in and get on the inside of Dion and make a play on the ball. So we're a couple frames later here. We can see that Dion has decent position. He's actually holding the guy a little bit. And depending on your technique, that may or may not get called. In this particular instance, it didn't get called. But the next frame shows Dion with his eyes towards the quarterback and hands getting up as if the ball were to be coming. And then we don't really see what happened there. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and play this all in succession so that you can watch it in slow motion, frame by frame. All right, so Dion's got his feet square, and then his hands go up on the receiver, but he doesn't open up all the way. He stays square. The receiver tries to drive him back. Dion has his eyes in towards the quarterback in this particular scenario. And then the quarterback, because Dion held him up so much here at the line, the wide receiver was 1 or 2 steps behind where the quarterback thought that he would be. And Dion was able to make a play on the ball here, come up with the interception, and then well, we could finish out this play here. I don't necessarily think it ends in anything spectacular. No, it didn't end in anything more than what we just saw. But all right, so Google Ads, if we have if we're talking like we have a football team, and the football team has 11 players on each side, offense, defense. On the defensive side, we have 2 corners, 2 safeties, 3 linebackers, and 4 defensive linemen. I'm assuming that adds up to 11. And then on offense, we have a couple receivers, tight end, offensive lineman, running back, and receiver. In Google Ads, we have search, display, video, shopping, and discovery ads. These are our players when we're talking about Google Ads. And each play, all right, let's just assume that we're starting with search here. Each play begins when somebody out in the world has an idea to approach Google with a question. Let's say that that question is about a toothache. That person will begin the search process with some type of non-branded search. They'll say, why does my tooth hurt? And then some answers will come up. And then you can use that particular opportunity to display an ad, or to show a search ad if you are a dentist. Or if you are not a dentist, then you obviously won't want that. That might not be too good of a search for you. But bottom line is, actually, that I'm going to start over. That's not the best example. Let's go back to the running shoes example. So let's say that somebody goes to Google and they type in best running shoes for long distance. That is the beginning of the play. The play begins right there. And if you're present during that search, if your ad comes up, then great. If not, then all is not lost, because the play ends when the user, the person who performed that search, when they either convert or stop caring about whatever it is that they originally searched for. If you think about yourself and you're like in dire need of something, let's say that some pipes broke in your house and you are Googling a plumber. You're going to Google plumber, and then you're going to call a plumber, and you're not going to stop until you get somebody on the phone and you get that appointment scheduled. And once you do, that was a conversion for whichever plumber was the one that ended up booking your call. And if you're looking for long distance running shoes, then the conversion occurs when you actually end up purchasing a shoe. You may, in your life, because you're a runner, purchase more than one shoe, and in which case there would be multiple potential conversions available for that particular person. But I would consider it a different play because there's probably going to be a little bit of time in between each shoe purchase. Very seldomly, at least in my life, have I ever bought multiple shoes simultaneously. It's always kind of like a one shoe at a time thing, but that's not necessarily that relevant. And we're kind of getting a little bit off topic. But the thing that you need to understand is that if the user doesn't buy right off the bat, then you can utilize remarketing to make sure that you are still relevant in that customer's journey. If they don't even go to Google and maybe they're just on other websites, like running.com, and they're looking up articles about long distance running, then you can hit them with a display prospecting ad. Let me tell the difference between remarketing and prospecting for anyone who doesn't know real quick. Remarketing is when you are have already been to a certain brand's website and now they're remarketing to you after you have been to that website. Prospecting means that they've never been to your site, or at least haven't been there for quite a while. They don't necessarily know about your brand. You're prospecting new potential people to raise awareness for your brand. So we kind of see a repeating pattern here where there's two types of searches: people searching for your brand or searching for generic type searches. Display, you can either get shown a display ad because you went to somebody's website and you get remarketed to, or because you're browsing content or have behavior that is similar to other people who have bought certain products in the past, and so you're being prospected by that particular brand. And then the same thing goes for video. You have remarketing and prospecting. Shopping is very similar to search, where we have branded and then non-branded. But we also have this new campaign called Smart Shopping. It's not actually that new, but it's inherently different than regular shopping campaigns because it doesn't just show on the after somebody searches. It can show on YouTube or show really anywhere else across the web that Google decides. And then discovery ads, these are also a new ad format that just came out this year. But you can execute remarketing and prospecting similarly to how you can with display and video. What discovery ads are is if you have a Google phone, a Pixel, it's 2019, so I think the Pixel 2 XL or something, I don't even know the name of the newest phone, but most Google phones have the ability to swipe to the news feed, and then in the news feed, there's what's called discovery ads. If you're an iPhone user, I think you can get the Google News app, and it's essentially the same thing. But that's it. So if you have a Google Ads, if you're trying to run your business and trying to grow it through the use of Google Ads, and you're only using, let's say, non-branded search, well, that's the equivalent to not having all of your players on the field. Or if you have a guitar, you don't have all your strings on the guitar. You're limited by what you can do and the amount of potential traffic and opportunities that you'll have to capture your audience and cause them to convert with your brand. You want to score. You don't want to, just like in football, you don't want to be on offense and be trying to go down the field and get stuffed by the defense. You want to get in the end zone. You got to get some points on the board. And that right there is the difference between just a novice expert, a novice effort, somebody who can talk the talk but not necessarily walk the walk, someone who looks good with a guitar in their hand, versus Jimi Hendrix, who can shred that guitar like nobody's business and make babies cry in all of the best ways possible. So if you have any questions about that, then that's probably natural at this moment because this video is very high level and very incomplete. But I would just like to close it out with this thought that one of my science teachers, my favorite science teacher actually, he told me something that I'll never forget. He said, "Tyler, how do you eat a cow?" I said, "Well, that's an interesting thought. I don't know, on a hamburger? How do you eat a cow?" And he says, Well, that's all right, but the answer that I'm looking for is one bite at a time. So I eat a cow one bite at a time, and that's how you are going to learn Google Ads, is trying to get one bit of information at a time and then apply that to just your knowledge base, and everything will begin to make sense. So if you feel like, my wife keeps calling me, sorry. If you feel like you are on the borderline of the advanced level and you want to have more advanced training, then, well, the first thing to do is to schedule a call with me using the link that is in the video description. And there's really two things that I do. One, I review active accounts and give optimization advice on those. But I'm also putting together some training programs that focus more on just the pure teaching aspect. I got inquiry the other day from somebody who said that they were trying to get a job as a marketing director, and they needed to know more about Google Ads in order to get that job as a marketing director. And that means that you probably won't have an active Google Ads account that you want me to review, or that you want me to look at for you, but you're just trying to learn. So either way, whichever fits you, if you have an active account or if you're just trying to gain more expert information and really get into the nitty-gritty of Google Ads and be a highly competitive person, highly competitive business in your industry, then that's what we're here for. That's what we do all day. We compete, we score touchdowns. We are the athletes that get in the end zone. We are the people who are on the top of the charts. We're the artists who are on the top of the charts. And that's how we play. So if you're just kind of browsing and carousing here on YouTube, then great. I hope you enjoyed this video. But we're looking for the ballers. We're looking for those people who want to compete and really rise above their competition and make as much money as possible with Google Ads. Okay, rambling once again. That's it. I'm out of here. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll be thinking of more ideas for new videos. Bye.